Yeah, well...
Sarah, what the fuck is wrong with you?
Look...
Use smaller font!
I don't have to print them anymore. Why would I make the font smaller?
Then we have less pages.
It's the same amount of information.
But then it'll take less time.
That's not how any of that works. It actually will take longer because the font's smaller and it's harder to read.
Prove it.
I wasn't paying attention. What are you talking about?
I'm so tired. I put way too much effort into this.
Wait, hey, you need some of this if you're gonna sing.
No! Stop it with the throat spray!
Oh.
Hunter, other people don't want throat sprayed. You have to respect that.
Welcome to Blank Bodies.
Yeah, hi and
shit.
welcome to Blank Bodies,
Oh
a
my
Vampire
God.
the Masquerade, V5, tabletop, and horror podcast. I'm your host, Hunter, and I was beaten to the punch by...
John.
And there's also...
Sarah, hi.
That's that one.
I got my can of dumb bitch juice. Let's go.
Dumb bitch juice and go.
I need it. I worked way too hard this week on this fucking episode.
I worked way too hard this week.
You did.
I didn't
on
do
a
anything.
stupid art project.
It's not stupid.
I think it is.
It's silly. It's whimsical. It's
There,
super
okay,
fun, but
that's
it's
fair.
not stupid.
That's fair. Silly women.
we
I'll
respect
share
the
with you
arts.
guys when it's finished.
Oh.
I took before photos.
Mhm.
I'm going to take after photos. I haven't taken any process photos. I probably should have.
Maybe it's fine.
It's too late now.
That's good. That's a lot of my problems with university when I'm doing like art college projects is they want process stuff and I'm like, I kind of just process everything in my head because I have unmedicated ADHD and
Yeah.
just expecting me to sketch this
It's not fair.
just cuz is crazy. I'll sketch things if I'm actually trying to do design, but like just to sketch things. I'm like, bitch, you think I got paper money like that? Fuck you.
Get out of here.
I spent money on the good paper to not waste it.
That's why you
Anyways.
keep shitty paper around for sketch work.
Yeah, I should, but then I don't. Because I'm like, why would I? Anyways, hi, we're talking about Clan Brujah today. We're throwing stuff. Woo! Fuck you, Dad, going skateboarding. Hunter, don't throw the throat spray.
Oh, he's about to throw this neck, though.
That's true. That's great. Perfect. Yeah, so this is next step in our clan deep dive series. So first part will be vibes, clan culture, disciplines, and veins. Part 2 will be clan history, major NPCs, lore sheets. That'll be the next episode. Go check that out when it's out.
Yeah.
Cool. Normally we have the clans chosen by Patreon listener voter polls, but because of the way we broke this up, we try to do the more Camarilla focused clans first to kind of get your bases of the game, and then you guys picked Brujah last.
Which makes sense.
I don't know if it Camarilla based. We did the core book based ones.
Yeah,
at
well,
least.
we initially did all of the clans, which is how the La Sombra snuck in there real early.
That's true.
And then we were like, God, these polls are getting out of hand. How about we limit it to just the clans in the core book, which tend to be mostly the Camarilla kind of traditionally based ones.
Mhm.
The problem was everyone was voting for like 9 things and they'd all get like nearly the same amount of votes. We had a 3-way tie once. We're like, all right, we gotta.
And then we voted it down and it became like another tie. It was we're like, we gotta trim this down a smidge.
You know, that's pretty like La Sombra, though.
What, to just like sneak in there?
Yeah, it's like, there's a rule that says we can't not be here. We're gonna be here.
I know,
And then
right?
everyone's like, shit, no. And they're like, well, we're already here.
Yeah, it kind of worked out well with thematically with the layout of the episodes because we got a Ventru, and then we got like an Anarchy clan, and then we got a Sabati clan. So it kind of worked out flow wise, but then after that, we're just like, no.
Yeah.
Anyways, you guys picked Brujah last because you're fucking mean.
I mean, you know, everybody likes an underdog.
That's true. You know what? That's
and if
fair.
there is an underdog in any vampire clan.
God damn it is the oh god. So, oh god, yeah, doing all of the research for this clan, it was very much that the Brujah are just minding their own fucking business. And then
somebody comes over
and by somebody we mean the Ventru specifically, come over and are just like, that's a nice sandcastle you got there. What if I kicked it? And then said it was my sandcastle this whole time.
Aww,
and I'm
poor
just
Brujah.
like, damn it. So there's that. So instead of having y'all vote on the clan, because this was the last one, you guys are giving us the direction of the bonus episode this round.
Ooh.
And then, are we going to go back to opening up the clan polls?
Yeah, I think we're going to put everyone left on the poll except the Hakata.
We're doing the Hakata last. There's too much bullshit.
We might run a poll then to see which order people
That
want to
would be
learn
cool.
about them in. Because we're still trying to figure out how we want to even divide that nightmare pile up.
Yeah, because there's like 7 parts to it. It's
And each of them are clans, kind of in themselves.
either we're
which
clans
means,
or just bloodline. Yeah.
regardless, they could each have like their own episode.
Yeah.
But the Hakata's weird. I think some of the bloodlines got their own books, unlike other bloodlines in the game series. So it's also like they're kind of important bloodline. It's weird.
Yeah, it's weird. So we're saving that to the end. So sorry, guys. But if you want to vote for the
I'm
other
not.
spicy boys and friends and ghoul friends and gentle
Gal
thems,
friends. Ghoul friends and gal friends.
ghoul friends and girlfriends, that will be up while we're doing these episodes. So join the Patreon and help us decide how the order of the show is going.
Yeah.
Yeah, you look like you were winding up for something important.
No, I just
Okay.
started to have a thought, and then I was like, I don't think that's really worth walking down that thought path.
That's
I'm
totally
gonna
fair.
Turn around and leave.
That's fair. We'll leave that path behind. Current path though. Content warning. It's normal. Vampire the Masquerade. Shockingly, nothing wickedly out of pocket this episode.
Blood.
Yeah.
Probably
Death.
some body horror.
Yeah.
Some body horror.
The
Right.
out of pocket episode will be the next episode.
The history. Yeah, that makes sense.
Oh,
That
one-
makes sense.
Yeah. So
For history.
yeah, the history one's going to be the out of pocket one. So sources on this episode is the V5 core book, the Player's Guide, the V5 Anarch book, the 20th anniversary core book, Clan Brujah Revised, Veil of Night, Kindred of the Empty Kingdom, ST's Handbook to the Sabbat, Lord of the Bloodlines, Dirty Secrets of the Black Hand, the Gehenna book, Black Hand Guide to the Talmud Ra, and Chaining the Beast.
Just a couple.
Just a handful,
Just
a
like
li-
one or two.
You're gonna make fun of me next fucking episode because I read so much more.
I make fun of you every episode with love.
That's fair. You're allowed to. That's the bounds of our friendship.
We despise stiff rule, cold ritual, and a societal status quo. We always fight for change, even if that change comes with suffering. And this is perhaps our deepest link to the living. We need them to lead them and be led by their ideas, to help them grasp their visions of the future and bring about lasting change. Theo Bell, V5 Anarch, page 140.
We believe we can make the world anew. We don't have to accept the current conditions like the Camarilla cowards do. This is the true meaning of Carthage. The exact history really doesn't matter. The point is that a better world is possible. Salvador Garcia, author of the Anarch Manifesto. V5, Anarch Sourcebook, page 14.
She came into the bar. This girl I thought was just a nobody. She had a tattered Misfit shirt on and Doc Martens. But when I saw her face as she witnessed the execution, that all seemed to melt away. He turned, and she thrust a cue stick straight through his heart, as if she'd done it 1,000 times before. Lena, German Anarch, page 16.
Special thanks to Ash and Brent of On the Origin of Battle Mechs for the quotes. So what I want to know is, what the fuck is this clan?
What the fuck is this clan?
They are upsetty. Spaghetti.
Yes. These are your rebels with brackets out, maybe a cause.
They're the guys that are walking through parking lots, kicking over traffic cans and yelling, "Anarchy!"
Anarchy! I don't know what it means, but I love it.
Yep, I feel like that's Brujah.
Yeah, just kind of, just I'm gonna be obstinate to be obstinate. Whether that is, angy, violent, being angy and violent is a big thing that they're also known for.
They kind of like it.
Yeah, just kind of like, hey, where you going, wise guy? What you
You
doing
think
here?
you're so wise,
Guy?
guy?
You talking to me? Yeah, that kind of shit. It's very frustrating. Because it's not entirely out of pocket, because a good chunk of the clan is just like, look, I'm here to punch things and fuck God.
Yeah, they kind of want to flip the table like half the time.
I'm here to suck blood and fuck forever.
That's
very
Toreador. I don't know what you're talking
I mean,
about.
Brujah also fuck, but it's like different.
That's different.
It's like quick and dirty in an alleyway.
I've seen that
Or
video.
it takes forever because it's in a library and there's a lot of steps.
I mean, part of the reason I don't drink anymore is I had a habit of being a little destructive, but
No.
I never pretended like there was a cause behind it.
Yeah.
I just wasn't shouting anarchy when I, punched a light bulb.
Yeah.
I just thought it was silly.
It's a lot of fun to be silly, violent.
Yeah. No, it is super fun for,
Like that
for those
time.
things. Yeah.
So, okay, this is a story from
Uh-huh.
Spunk Manor times.
Oh.
This was the first New Year I was ever with this lady I was dating at the time.
Mm-hmm.
And we were at a party, and we had separate parties we wanted to go to, but we wanted to meet up again.
Mhm.
So we're like, okay, we're going to go to separate parties, hang out there, meet back up. Sounds good. So I go to Spunk Manor. She goes to her friend's house. I go to Spunk Manor. I immediately pound 2 or 3 beers, and then I'm like,
As was the
"Happy
style at the time.
fucking New Year!" And I started
Yeah.
walking through the house. I don't know if you guys were in the room for this or if you remember this, but I was
Mm-hmm.
walking through the house, down punching cans to crush them.
Mm-hmm.
And usually I was asking if they were empty first.
Mm-hmm.
And then I found, now you musicians out there, don't be upset with me here, a bass guitar that I had left in the house. Now this thing had been warped. It was a shitty bass guitar. And I took it outside and smashed it just by myself.
Yeah, I was around for that because you were doing these wild ass things and people kept asking me. It's like, is he okay? And I was like, yeah, it's fine.
Yeah, it's just me doing my thing.
Yeah.
Anyway.
He lives here. It's fine.
This was after I'd moved out.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Yeah.
It was after I'd moved out. But at some point I had cut my hands up like in 3 or 4 different spots, and they were just bleeding all over the place. And like I cleaned them off, and then I was like, all right, I gotta go. I went to this other party and I was fine when I left.
Mm-hmm.
And I came back and I immediately walked in and was like, you guys got any band-aids? And they're like, why? And I was like, my hands are bleeding. And this was the first time I had met her friends too.
Oh, perfect.
Yeah, it was a good time.
Yeah.
They gave me band-aids.
I thought you were going to talk about the year there was shirtless wrestling in the kitchen.
That was many years.
There was many shirtless wrestling in the kitchen, in the yard.
There was one year it was specifically bad. Someone threw a trash can.
Yeah.
And then like we had to have a talk.
Yeah.
About like people going too far.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's why I started building the bucket of Dagahir weapons, where I was just like, look, if you're gonna ook, here's foam, go in the yard.
That was fun.
Yeah. But yeah.
I miss my dag weapons.
We should work on that. But yeah, so that's a big chunk of the clan is either being kind of dumb thugs or annoying nerds. The annoying nerds doesn't get as much publicity, but a big chunk of the clan is just these fucking nerds.
I remember Carthage.
Not wrong. Not wrong. Just, like, well, actually, it's more intellectual to be following the rules of Stoicism, because... And I'm just like, I want to throw you through a wall, so I understand the dumb thugs that are just like, I'm gonna...
Throw him through a wall.
I'm gonna put this nerd in a fucking locker. The problem is the nerd is also punchy and can fight back.
Yeah.
So, like, that's...
It ends up being a mess.
Yeah. A lot of the clan is just known to be, like, arguing just to argue.
I don't think so.
No,
you're wrong.
Fuck. Here it is. Fucking Christ. Yeah, just a lot of obstinate. It's like, no, I don't think we should be doing this thing. And it's like, why? It's like,
it's not right.
Like, it's fucked up, man. It's like, usually they are correct, but some of them are not good at articulating that, and then other ones are too good at articulating, so they're also bad at articulating their point, because they just spent way too much time to, like, describing a thesis and giving us an abstract instead of just getting to the fucking point.
Yeah.
Nerd shit.
Nerds that are just like, I've read all of this theory and, these obscure Russian authors, and I understand the... It's like, yeah, but, like, people gotta pay bills and shit, man. You gotta learn to talk to, like, actual people.
Am a human.
Mm-hmm.
Well, in this case, in this scenario, if we were playing vampire and that specific NPC or PC approached me, I wouldn't be able to say, just human. I'm a human here.
I'm just a guy.
But it's that vibe.
Yeah, just like, I'm just a little guy.
I'm just hanging out.
Yeah.
Could you not?
The big chunk of the clan is known as being ideologues. A big thing is bringing up Carthage. We've already brought it up. Anybody who does a drinking game of, hey, drink every time they say Carthage, you're gonna fucking die. Please do not.
Especially next episode, I assume.
Oh, yeah.
I'm assuming that when I look at the script, when I scroll down the 37 pages it takes to get to the second episode here.
It's not 37 pages.
Yep, it's just a whole page of Carthage.
A big chunk.
Sad. Carthage.
That's when you switch to beer.
I actually just read that section out of the script there, so...
But yeah, a lot of the clan are very stubborn ideologues of various ideologies, and good luck if you pick up on their hyperfixations, because they're just gonna go. And a lot of people view this as a fallen clan, because Brujah was considered to be in very high esteem and regard in terms of societal prestige, and reading through a lot of the meta text is interesting, because so much of the meta text is trying to constantly describe this clan as like, they're just a bunch of rabble and they're crestfallen and just they don't have the grandeur that they used to have, and it's just a bunch of dumb fucking idiots punching things. And I kind of feel V5 might have turned that around for them a bit in a way that is cathartic to me. Specifically. I hope other people enjoy it too, but I understand if other people are just still wanting to shit on Brujah for just being like, you're a bunch of dumb idiots that punch things and can't control your temper and blah 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 blah.
I mean, all of that is true, but they just so happen to be a slightly deeper puddle.
They're highly intellectual dumb idiots.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like, oh, well, yes, because you're inherently better of a thinker because you don't engage with your emotions.
No.
That sounds psychotic.
No.
That's what a sociopath does. You know,
I just don't punch the walls, man. Calm down.
Yeah. Yeah, well, That's later on. That's later on. We're gonna talk about that later. So big thing also, leather jackets. Constantly leather jackets.
do like a good leather jacket.
A good levy.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Good levy.
Yeah, it's gotten to the point of just being a fucking meme, and going through character art for Brujah, it's half, at least, of the characters are all wearing leather jackets. I'll even include, like, leather vests in this, too.
Mm-hmm.
Of various, like, punk or motorcycle gang. Just a lot of leather. It's very, What's His Nuts from Near Dark. I feel bad I'm forgetting the actor's name. He died. During the bar scene.
I don't remember.
You don't remember the bar scene?
I don't remember the actor.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like that. It's also like a lot of Lost Boys also with like the leather jacket.
Lost Boys for sure.
Yeah. So if you want to have automatic cool cred,
play a Brujah.
Leather jacket.
You'll be a whiny little.
You get
nerd
embraced.
bitch.
You wake up. You get a leather jacket and an anger issue.
They generally they don't feed their child there. They just give them a leather jacket.
They swaddle them in a leather jacket.
Yeah. If in the middle of frenzy you can figure out how to put the leather jacket on properly, you're immediately let into the clan. No more trials.
Oh, I thought you were saying that's how you contain the Brujah frenzy, is you put the leather jacket on him like you're putting a blanket over a bird.
Yes! Both arms in, he'll calm down. Both arms in, he'll calm down.
He's like, no, I don't want to calm down. I hate the system. Angie. I could make these jokes because I'm a Brujah main.
Yeah.
I don't know if everybody's caught on yet. We've made jokes on the series about me being a Tremere, or possibly, Bonnie, I keep like, no, rereading and doing all this stuff. I'm just like, man, this feels like a read.
Let's be real.
This is a
like,
read.
with our lives,
I
feel like we would have most likely been embraced by
Brujah. Yeah.
Hanging out at punk houses and venues and music stuff, and
Some guy
going
like,
to protests.
I like their spunk. I like these guys.
Yep.
And I'll just be like, fuck. Well, cool.
Where's my leather jacket, man?
You have several.
Well, I didn't get one from them.
That's
I haven't
fair.
been embraced yet. I'll
Yeah.
wait.
I was gifted a leather jacket, so I think that counts.
I've been gifted a couple leather jackets.
You know what's really funny? I don't own a leather jacket. I've never owned a leather jacket, mostly just because it's hard for me to find ones that like close around my chest, because I'm gifted in that way, unfortunately. But Target recently, I don't know why they did this, had a plus size like pleather trench coat. So now I have the really shitty 90s bullshit jacket.
Hell yeah.
So I think I finally got one. I just can't find a motorcycle style jacket that like closes.
They're weird.
That isn't like
they fit weird, too.
$600.
Yeah.
So.
Yep.
Yeah. So this clan is the punks, hipsters, rebels, rabbles, warrior scholars, philosopher kings, Prometheans, Troilites, the learned clan.
I don't know what a Troilite is.
We'll learn.
Okay.
The learning clan.
Oh.
Let's take a look in a book.
The
Reading
Brujah.
Honestly, though, considering what LeVar Burton said at the like national reading convention thing that he spoke at recently, I don't know if you guys saw that.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-mm.
Yeah, so he was about to give a speech to this like National Book Library Academy thing, and he called out and was just like, "Hey, is there any Moms for Liberty here?" Which is like a conservative mom group that's like, "We don't want kids reading or having knowledge because we're assholes." And nobody piped up, and he's like, good. Hands will not have to be thrown this evening. And I was just like, yes!
Hell yeah.
Yes! So,
Get it.
LeVar Burton, Brujah. I'm calling it. All right, so, in clan behaviors and socializations. This is a clan of individuals, which made researching kind of a pain in the ass.
They don't generally have like a shtick. Well, they have a shtick, leather jacket. But-
Outside of leather jacket, not much of a shtick. And even then with the leather jacket, a good chunk of the clan are just tweed wearing assholes.
They keep the leather jacket in the closet.
They have an
wanna keep it
internal
nice.
leather jacket. They have a spiritual leather jacket. But yeah, Brujah as a clan has never had an inherent structure, philosophy, or vibe for the whole group.
That might be why, stereotypically, a lot of like in a city, the leader of the clan is usually just like also the prince's muscle or something like that. Because most of them don't care to be like the head of the clan in town.
Yeah, it's interesting the amount of Brujah that like want to take like charge, but they don't want to be leaders. They're just like, nah.
Yeah.
Yeah, just so that, like, I need to do this thing because I have a principled stand. And they're like, oh, so you're the leader? And he's like, no.
I didn't say that.
No, because that's how you get princes.
I hate that I want it, but
Oh
my throat
no,
keeps getting
Skipper is getting.
I'm all phlegmy.
You're phlegmy. Maybe it's because you put mezcal in a Faygo. Oh, no. He made the face a cat does right before it gets a hairball. You good? I feel like we're accidentally very on brand for Brujah.
Sorry, go ahead.
No, it's okay. You're good. So, fun thing, digging into the clan a little bit more deeply. While the clan doesn't have an inherent structure, there's a split in many schools of thought and how the clan itself should be, like, structured and identified.
No way.
Shockingly. So some people in the clan think that the clan should be divided specifically into schools of thoughts and categorized.
The nerds.
Yes. This is often seen with those that are considered to be conservative intellectuals or liberal firebrands. So people that are just like, no, I have this specific ideology, which is a subsect of Marxism, and da-da-da-da-da. It's like, no, I'm a social dem, which is not the same as a Marxist-Leninist. And how dare you confuse me with an anarcho-syndicalist? I hate that I've said those things and I know exactly what all that is.
I need you to chill out, bud, okay?
Yeah.
How about you talk to me like a human?
Why would I do that?
I mean, if you're supposed to be a human clan here.
That's true, yeah.
It's identifying with people and their beliefs
you
and
get
blah,
the
blah, blah.
conservative intellectual ones that are just like, I don't like the system, but I do innately believe in hierarchy, and then you get some weird squirrely thoughts. But anywho, so the ones who want to split up the clan generally have 3 ideas of how the clan should be split up. There's one I don't talk about because it's basically centrist, and there's no point in talking about it.
No, we're not talking about 3 separate, like, sections or branches,
no,
kind
it's
of
just
like the
two,
Banu Hakim had.
Yeah, no, it's not like a caste system. It's just like 2 major schools of thought.
Okay.
And then there's a third one the book mentioned, or one of the older books mentions, and it's just kind of like the idealists that are just like kind of a little bit of both. And I'm like, get the centrist shit out of here. I don't care.
I feel like they don't really come up much either.
No, they don't. Like, even the lore just kind of gives it, like, maybe a paragraph, and they're like, a lot of Brujah that are very successful kind of take some thoughts from this school, and then take some thoughts from this school, and do both, and are successful. And I'm like, you mean being a rational person?
Weird.
I'm not going to give that a name. That's crazy. So, the 2 major schools of thought that I am naming, because whatever, there's the Iconoclasts, and these are the most rebellious of the clan, and often are seeking causes to fight for. They tend to be the younger of the clan, and most often are the ones that will throw a Molotov and ask questions later.
I was just thinking Molotovs.
Yeah, which is an interesting weapon choice for a creature that is very, combustible.
I like the idea of the Brujah being like, all right, guys, we're going to throw these Molotovs. Well, you're going to throw these Molotovs. I've made all these Molotovs.
Mm-hmm.
Here you go.
I'm very prone to frenzy, so like I like an anarchist mom is like, I pre-baked all of these for you kiddos.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yes, that's what they're doing.
Go forth, my anarchy children. Just like arming crows. Like, it's crazy. But these are also the iconoclasts are also the vampires that are most likely to genuinely still care about people and ideals and stuff, because they're still really in touch and in tune with their feelings on things. Mm-hmm. These are also what is seen as the most, like, stereotypical of the Brujah. So when people are thinking of Brujah, and they're just like, oh, yeah. So somebody who's really up in their feelings and is going to do something about it that's probably stupid and violent and maybe going to break the masquerade. That's Brujah! So, yeah, reckless hooligans, the firebrandy kind of just, I'm gonna fight the man. Mm-hmm. That's the iconoclast. The idealists are the more analytical and intellectual of the clan, and they will seek out guidance and study before making choices. And these tend to be the Ancillaean elders more times than not, but you do get some younger ones that are just like, hey guys, I'd like to build a society, and if you burn it all down, there won't be a society, so maybe don't.
Right.
While a lot of the idealists will still seek for change, they tend to be more cautious and theory-based as opposed to, I'm gonna punch it. Mm-hmm. Some of these older or more academically inclined will follow what is called the path of Anarchy. It's a Greek word. I don't know how to say this correctly.
Anarchy.
And
I don't know why that was so
amazing. I love that. This is a supposedly ancient philosophy that sees vampirism as a state that allows those who are brave, strong of mind, and hone their self-control to be able to spend their time pursuing education, training their bodies, and developing their powers. So they're just like, hey, like, I understand that vampirism it can kind of suck, but actually, technically, this is a weird gift and opportunity. So you don't, instead of, like, being a sad boy and being really bleak, why don't you spend your time being a better person? Which I'm like, honestly, is one of the weirdly more healthy responses to vampirism I've ever seen in lore. They're just like, this sucks. What if instead I read a bunch of books and got swole as fuck and actually did something with my own life? I'm like, oh, that's actually
pretty cool.
Pretty cool. These Brujah will seek to actively fight their beast with their focus as opposed to just passively falling down the humanity spiral. So instead of just accepting the I am a monster, so therefore if I'm a dickhead, that's fine.
Yeah.
They're just like, what if not? What if I actively tell it to fuck off?
I really like the idea of a Brujah going through like a rough spot. His beast is getting him, and he's just like, hold on. He sits down in a corner.
Closes his eyes, thinks really hard.
He's thinking really hard, and it like zooms into his brain, and it's him just boxing his beast.
Yeah, kind of quite literally.
Yeah.
With facts and logic.
Oh, sure. Or
feels, or just like, I said no.
Yeah, that's kind of what I was thinking.
Just no, I don't want it. Just internally spray bottling your own beast.
Yeah.
It's holy water spray. It's like, how'd you get that in your brain? Like, I'm manifesting it with thoughts.
I'm upset. And sometimes when I'm upset, I need holy water.
Yes. So basically the breakdown is an idealist knows what they're doing is right, while the iconoclast feels what they're doing is right, according to the Brujah Revised book. So kind of a good breakdown on that. In Modern Knights, particularly in V5, the more intellectual side of the clan is known as the Hellenes. I think they're trying to go for like the Hellenistic, like Greek philosophy school of thought, which is very funny considering the feud between Menelaus and Helena.
Mm-hmm.
It's very funny. I tend to not use this in my games just because of that confusion, but if you want to run with it, there's lore for it, so have fun. But the Hellenes tend to focus their dismantling of systems on understanding how the system exists and functions before just going into dismantling things. So, hooray. Others in the clan will find the idea of trying to split the clan into schools of thought to be a fucking waste of everybody's time. They don't see the point. These Brujah tend to be progressive intellectuals who know that unifying socialized theory is a crock of shit, or those who don't care about politics and just want to kick a little ass, according to the books.
Hell yeah.
So there's that. There's often a phenomenon in the clan where elders who were radical in their time period as they age basically end up butting heads with the even younger fledglings because their ideas are no longer radical anymore.
Mm-hmm.
So that's just a constant feud in the clan, as older guys are just like, back in my day, I was on the cutting edge of things. It's like, yeah, but that was like before sliced bread, my guy. Like, quite literally.
It's not like that's a human
thing at all.
that we have to deal with.
No, not at all. But, going to ignore, some of the issues I have to deal with within the queer community about, like, just the generational, cultural issues, because that's its own thing. It isn't unheard of older Brujah to believe that their path is the most correct, despite their lost ties with current issues, and become parts of the systems they once fought against. So, this probably isn't as common for V5, because a lot of the elder and olders are getting fucked off to the beckoning, but it might behoove you to include older Brujah that are very just like, no, my idea is correct, and they'll start kind of using their own power and power structures to like force an ideology on others, because that does happen, and it's unfortunate. No one in the clan desires to be seen as a follower, a failure, or lacking the justifications of their beliefs. What any of that fucking means changes from one Brujah to the next, so good fucking luck trying to get any kind of a feel or a beat on what it means. But overall, yeah, they tend to be like, I do good things, I'm doing the thing, and if everybody tries to call them on that, sometimes they get a little upset spaghetti.
Meow.
Yes, like that. Is that the beast now?
Meow.
My beast is an elderly, grumpy cat.
Meow.
Well, he got sprayed with the spray bottle earlier, so now he's just like,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Brujah tend to be rather social vampires. They will hang out in groups of like-minded peers, or they'll take on teacher, counselor, mentor roles within a group of, or like try to corral a group of younger or less skilled vampires. That tends to be their two main modus operandi. Brujah enjoy keeping up with let me start over, I'm so sorry. Brujah enjoy keeping up with mortal cultures, particularly syncing up with counterculture movements. And due to this, since Brujah tend to float around in several different social circles, they tend to be the vampires that have the widest nets of contacts, allies, and influence amongst mortals out of all of the vampires.
Even more so than the Tories.
Yeah, because a lot of the Brujah don't hold themselves to having to maintain cliques of certain social expectations, like a lot of Toreador will. But the Toreador, like, I need to have this prestige of art or refinement or social status. The Brujah just like, I be hanging out with whoever. So they'll have people that are like, people that are on the street, people in the neighborhood, people that might be working in like catering, janitorial services, unions.
Right.
So, yeah, you could absolutely build Brujah that just have weird groups of contacts, and especially if you're somebody that wants to have characters that are really entrenched in the city and different social groups. Brujah's a good way to justify that, because they're like, oh yeah, no, I bounce from this kind of bougie art gallery, and then I go over here and go hang out at a dive bar, and then there's also, you know, the arcade place, and then sometimes I go to the university, and then I go to this flop house, and all that's like kind of expected.
Right.
It's almost like there's tons of people, and if you care about society, you have to care about and hang around with tons of people.
Weird.
Wow. Yeah. Brujah tend to act as the checks and balance of a community. So between their reach with the mortal spheres and their personal convictions, many Brujah will act as the voice of reason or the devil's advocate when planning things on the vampire side of society. Which may be why they've gotten into trouble with some of their Cambrian compatriots over the centuries. When somebody's like, I want to do this thing, and they're just like, hold up, buddy. Which my favorite example of that small story. So according to the lore, there's a chunk of time where Mithras, yeah, that Mithras from London, Ventru Methuselah Mithras, was trying to push the politics in London so that there was 2 Ventru Primogen seats. And shockingly, the Brujah were just like, that's fucked up, no. And they collectively agreed in London, whomever decided to take that second Primogen council seat, the entire clan was going to beat them to final death. They're just like, put that word out. They're like, okay, well, we can't stop Mithras from trying to, like, set the seat up because he's too powerful. If any of you cunts take that fucking seat, we're going to beat you to death. All of us. Together, we're going to line up and take turns punching you until you're dead. Like, dead. Beyond torpor, dead. And shockingly, no one took that second seat.
Nice.
I feel like that could be a really fun, really dumb game, like video game, where you just took the second Ventru seat. Now, fight off waves of Ventru.
Fight off the waves of Brujah?
Sorry,
just
Brujah.
Whatever poor Patsy Ventru that they just stuck in there, where it's like, this is a really, really important tactical thing for whatever Lord Mithras is doing, and it's actually a seat of honor, so, you know, whatever Ventru's wanting to, like, build up their dignitas is just like, sure, I'll play this game of chicken. And then he suddenly hears behind him all of Whitechapel crack its knuckles simultaneously, and I'm just like, that's horrifying.
It's like Call of Duty Zombies.
Right? It's just like, man, you better have all of the fortitude. Or be fast. You're probably not going to be faster than the Brujah. And probably not. No. But that's just a fun lore story that I love. It's fun. So good. Yeah, the Brujah are said to be the most in touch with their humanity as well, which I like the lore reasons for this.
I'm confused here. Because our Toreador episode also said that they were the most in touch with their humanity.
It's debated on which of those two is actually the most in touch. They just kind of come out at different angles.
They both believe they are the one, though.
Yeah. The kind of fun thing is in the lore, there are some Toreador that will admit that the Brujah might be a little bit more in touch with their own humanity than the Toreador are. And I think the kind of lore mechanics behind that is interesting, which is the Brujah, the vampires that most have to literally fight their own beast due to their frenzy tendencies. So they are the clan that has to most directly, consistently contend with what is making them a monster and have to combat that nightly. So they have to be really in tune with their sense of self and their own humanity to maintain themselves.
Right.
So if you get Brujah that are older, like, that is wickedly impressive because they're actively having to fight their beast so consistently all the time.
Right.
So yeah, I'm just kind of like, that's actually kind of neat. Now, a lot of people chalk it up to the Brujah's passion for change and constantly striving to make the world better keeps them less locked in time as compared to many other vampires, so they tend to be less alien when dealing with mortals, because their locked in time is them constantly struggling to change things, so it's just kind of being locked in a cycle of change. Is kind of their curse. Once they get
to the change that they want, they now need to find a new change.
Yeah, it's the dog caught the car. Yeah, and so that tends to be where most people consider Brujah's, like, humanity touch bases. The fact like, oh, they care about things so much and they have big powerful feelings and da-da-da. And I'm like, no, it's the fact that they have to literally deal and confront their own monstrousness so consistently and have to work so hard against it due to the frenzy problem. As opposed to, like, the Toreador, that when they lose their humanity, it's kind of like a slow, out of touch thing, and then they can go like, oh fuck, I have to put a lot of effort in suddenly, as opposed to putting an effort every night. Now that we've gotten through all of the socializing things, the one organization thing that the Brujah does do is called rants.
They definitely fucking rant.
Yeah. So a rant is a more informal gathering, often organized at the end of concerts, block parties, cookouts, bar hopping, have fun making up wherever
Just
the fuck
kind
this
of
happens.
After a fun event.
Yes. After a fun event, there will be a rant. This has basically existed as an open forum where topics are decided by who talks first or is the loudest and can maintain the focus of the forum.
So they just start screaming and...
Yeah, you can talk over each other if you're just the first one that's like, all right, guys, this is what we're talking about.
Huh.
Yeah. While all-out attacks at the forum are not encouraged, shoving and using social skills to make your stand is accepted.
Shoving.
Yeah, you could literally, if somebody's talking in the middle of the group, you can literally push them out of the way and be like, all right, we're done with that. Now we're talking about my thing.
This kind of reminds me of some of the stuff we talked about in the Gangrel episode, because their organization is kind of just like, well, we all just show up and talk. But I know there's more story-based, whereas this is more...
Yeah, Gangrel's a little bit more like...
This is more given speeches.
Give children, come around the fire. I have a tale to tell you. It's a little bit more folksy, and I'm assuming a banjo's getting played.
Probably.
Yeah, this kind of has more of the energy of, you're at the end of a party and everybody's like delirious and tired and kind of tipsy, and they're all like talking over each other during a conversation.
Mm-hmm.
When you're talking about things that are way too deep and you're way too stoned. It's kind of like that, except vampire politics. Elders who show up to these things and have used their disciplines to sway people at the rant often are uninvited to several rants after that, like socially ostracized. Because they're just like, man, no, you ruined the vibe. Like...
What if it's not an elder that uses disciplines?
The younger folks tend to not do that from what I've read, but yeah, using your powers during a rant is frowned upon, but they specifically mentioned the elders being kicked out for extended periods of time, and I think that might be more due to the Brujah's just innate not enjoying hierarchy things. So we're just like, yeah, I understand you're older and you're more powerful and you have more social clout and you can kick my ass, but you don't get to bully me at the rant.
Right.
Like, this is supposed to be a little bit more egalitarian, and you're not allowed to pull rank here.
So they're specifically stepping out of line by having so much more, whatever it be, power, clout. Or...
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, they're like, bro, your deck is already stacked because you've had, what, like 200-300 years to learn how to speak good?
Right.
I just got here. And
That's fair.
We're supposed to be on a level field. It's a rant. Like, if your topic is that important... You should be able to convince people it's important, as opposed to just showing up and being like, hi, I'm your dad. We're talking about this now.
Right.
So instead, elders will tend to use proxy neonates to speak on their behalf at rants if they have something they need to do. So instead of them showing up and then being accused of abusing their power, they'll just like find a little guy and be like, hey man, here's $20. Tell him I need this done.
It could be their children or like someone there, the Methuselah too.
Yeah, the Maula.
Maula, yeah.
Yeah, they're just like, this little whippersnapper that I've been teaching. You know the problem I've been working on, right? Yeah. Okay, go be a good noodle and convince your friends that
help me out here.
It's also a problem.
Yeah.
Because if I show up, they're gonna immediately ignore me because I'm the authority figure.
Not that we haven't been struggling on that with our Monday game. With a fucking Brujah.
Oh, Jackie's delightful.
He is a sweetheart.
He's a sweet bean, but goddamn it, I've had
He's a Brujah.
Ada's had some conversations with him where she's just flat out like, you can't just exist, right? You don't have to like, you're in a glass closet, my guy. And he just didn't acknowledge her. He just kept the conversation pushing. And
that sounds right.
And she's like, he's a full vampire. I can't like convince him outside of what I'm saying right now. So like, he'll figure it out. It's okay. He'll find the doorknob.
Love him.
But there's a few different types of rants. So there's the policy rant, which is typically a way for like local areas to organize on a specific focused goal. Okay. Which is kind of the most...
We need to get this drug dealer off the street.
Yeah. Oh, there's like, hey, so we noticed like this asshole that's new in town, he's working for the camp, so we need to get him the fuck out, or whatever, like, there might be hunters.
Right.
Whatever little locally organized issue, policy rant.
We're pissed at the Camarilla.
Yeah.
But again this week.
Yes. But
where
for a
do they
specific
usually
thing.
do these?
Just
at wherever?
At wherever.
I can't imagine that's very good for the masquerade to just have like 6 or 7 vampires screaming about, well, there might be fucking hunters in here, so I think we need to go over to the bank, get some money.
The older book does bring up that I do mention a little bit later on, but I'll bring it up now. So the rants, anybody can kind of just walk into these. So if you're not in the Brujah and you just show up at a rant, like, that's fine. I'll get into more details about that. But the book also mentions that it's not completely unheard of for a mortal just to accidentally stumble into this. Because, this drunk guy at the end of a party. And it's just like, hey, bros, what are you doing? And they're having, like, vampire talks. And apparently the vampires will just casually bully the mortal into leaving.
Really?
Because they're just like, okay, we can't talk about vampire business in front of Tom. Tom, get the fuck out of here. Like, what? It's like, Tom, you're drunk. Go home. Here's water. Get out of here.
Good. I already got you an Uber.
Yeah. We ordered you an Uber, man. We just want to make sure you get home safe. All right, homie, we love you. Gotta get...
Push.
Yeah. Which I kind of love that. Where they just might... Could you imagine a rant where they're like halfway through it, they realize just a drunk human's just been chilling there and just being like, nah, he's got a good point. And then they're just like, fuck.
I also like it because maybe not with necessarily the Toreador, who also have like their big open galleries, which are kind of their meetings too. They have like art events and stuff. But like other than the two of them, most of the clans when they have meetings, they're very insular. Like Malkavians, it happens in their head. Ventru, they basically have like board meetings. La Sombra, I don't want to know. Like
that's in a spooky castle.
Yeah.
But like I like the idea that this is one that like it wouldn't be weird for your coterie just to be there when you want to make a scene out of it.
Yeah.
Like you just bring them along.
It's like, yeah, you guys want to come to the thing?
You'd be like, oh yeah, Jess, the Nosferatu saw something, so she's gonna tell us about it.
Yeah, just like, yeah, my coterie's been working on this thing, man. Like they got more deets, so I brought them and just like picks them up by the scruff because they got potents like that. It's like, here you go. Anybody hits them, I swear to God. But yeah, so the other rants. So there is the prestige rant. This is for when grand or great achievements have been done, usually changing some sort of like institute or system of some sort, or there's been a big loss. Either way, you're expected to show up and talk about it and take your cheers and your jeers accordingly from the group.
So if you fuck up real bad,
you're expected to go to the rant.
To still show up and be like, yeah, I fucked up.
Here's how I fucked up. And I was like, yeah, we know you fucked up, Dave.
Good job. Great job, Dave.
Asshole.
Yeah.
If Dave were to be like, hey, I'm just gonna not, they will be either dragged, or the next rant they go to, they're gonna get dragged twice as hard. So the longer that you pussy out dealing with everybody making fun of you, they're gonna be like, not only did Dave fuck up, he's a bitch.
Right.
Look at him being a bitch and not owning his fuck up.
We had to drag him here out of his haven.
Yeah. And quite literally, if you try to avoid one of these, if you're specifically invited, they will go get you.
Okay.
Like, we'll pick your ass up and be like, hey, you got invited. Did you not have a ride? Get in the van.
You got a ride now.
Yeah, we're here, man. We got you. Just picking them up, like, physically and just putting them in, like, kidnapping somebody for a stag party. Which I think is very fun. There are spite rants. These are held by the Brujah to punish somebody who's transgressed against the clan. Whatever the fuck that means. Depends on how the vibe of the clan in the area. So if you do something that the Brujah are just like, hey, that's fucked up, they'll have a spite rant. And the punishment can range from public humiliation to final death, depending on how much you fucked up.
So either they bring you in and they just like take turns reading you, or they beat you to death.
Oh, they could beat you
Catch
and
you
then
on
beat
fire.
you to death.
Yeah,
it can get kind of creative.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think that's interesting. They have this kind of like social control. Like if somebody's getting too out of pocket, they'll have a spite rant where they're just like, all right, you fucked up. We're just gonna make fun of you and maybe beat you up a little bit, but like, you can learn. It's fine.
Right.
But it's not unheard of if somebody like does severely break the rules of whatever the rules are in that community, that they will just be final deathed.
Right.
So
I could see it like almost like old school, like old school, like Hell's Angel style biker gangs finding out someone's an informant.
Yeah.
Where it's like, oh, okay, we're gonna take care of this now.
You were gonna take care of this, and you're gonna get dragged. And by dragged, I did not mean read to death. I meant
behind a truck,
strapped to a truck.
Yeah.
Staked and then strapped to the back of a truck.
Oof.
Ugh.
Gee, I wonder why the rant is happening outside city limits this week.
It's like, it's weird that the rant is happening at like the dirt racetrack. That's interesting.
I did get invited. I'm excited to see.
Location.
Yeah.
And the final major format of the rant is called the debate. These are often used by elders or the more intellectually inclined of the clan to decide on issues. A specific topic is chosen. Sometimes there is a moderator for the debate. Each side gives evidence, cross-examines, etc. the arguments until either the moderator or the opposing side changes their mind on the situation. These can go for several nights or weeks.
Yeah.
Younger Brujah fucking hate these.
So I imagine this is what the nerds and the old people are doing.
Yeah. It's very debate lowered, which I could imagine some of the younger Brujah, especially considering like the debate bro phenomenon, would fucking love this shit. Yeah, because like I've watched a lot of that shit because I am an asshole. Yeah, so some of the younger ones might have the more like internet debate bro kind of debate forum as opposed to the olders that they did show in canon some of the ways that Brujah in these debates are, where they're like, well, I want to repudiate the point that you made here at 2.B, and then which also like real like academic collegiate level of point counterpointing and dissecting debates and ideas. Some of this could be really cool if you're a nerd like me and you love this kind of shit and you want to have like a courtroom drama scene. Having a debate rant could be cool. This could also be tedious as fuck and not fun. So this really depends on the vibe of your group.
Yeah, I'd probably have not that, personally.
Yeah. I don't blame you. I mean, it could be cool to set up that as a scene and then the characters are like, hey, we need to snag so-and-so from this because we have to talk about a thing. So like having that in the background could be really cool. Or it could just be a punishment.
Womp womp.
Where it's like, hey, you're unprepared and now you're being dragged in front of the debate to argue your point in front of the olds and nerds. Mm-hmm. And if you don't, they'll beat you to death. Because that's the annoying thing with the Brujah nerds. You're just like, it's fucking nerds. I'm like, yeah, but they will kill you with their fists. Because they can. So you kind of...
The moderator doesn't have a gavel or anything like that to call attention. He's got a baseball bat. Then he just dung on the floor.
Well, cricket bat.
Cricket bat, because it's civilized.
Yeah. So, outsiders, like I said, are allowed at the rants. You do need to be prepared for being openly mocked and to defend your stances, possibly with your own fists, depending on like how
it's
the rants go.
It's interesting that the debate goes that way.
Well, no, this is like all rants.
Oh, okay. Still,
but
the debate could end up that way.
Yeah, it's seen as uncouth, but you know sometimes tensions are high,
and sometimes you swing on somebody.
Yeah.
And then if are they going to let you swing on them without swinging back? Come on.
If the guy that swung first, it's like, well, clearly he lost the debate because he had to resort to fist fighting. And the other guy had to defend himself. So, like, we're not mad at him.
Well, yeah, we ended the debate and started the fist fight. What are you talking about?
Yeah. I also see, since there's like a moderator and stuff, I imagine the part of the moderator's job is just like, no, calm down. Just back to your seat.
Spray bottle.
Like, I imagine they specifically would, if I were to run that scene, they would specifically be trying to avoid that, since every other rant is like, no, it's cool, shove them around, do what you got to do to make a point. Here, it's like, no, we're going to sit and we're going to discuss this. We're planning on 3 weeks, but it may be extended depending on...
Moderator, one hand, cricket bat, other hand, pneumatic pistol with a wooden stake in it. And it's like, listen here, motherfuckers, don't fuck around. Just only pulls it out when people are getting a little spicy, and they're just like, look, I will shoot you because we have to maintain civility, and if we have to put you in the timeout corner, I'll do it.
And if I have to shoot you to maintain this civility, I will.
Yeah, but I do enjoy the fact that anybody can show up at the rant. In more recent nights, due to the shifts in the Anarch revolts, rants have become more popular within the Anarch movement more widely, so even just not Brujah can host Brujah-style rants if they want. And is seen as kind of like a political open mic night. So it's a way for vampires to rally and share ideas and things like that within the Anarch movement now.
Possibly a good example of this, LA by Night, when they are gathering the forces pretty early on, I think, when Annabelle is doing her, like, gather behind us! We're gonna save the city! Yell speech.
Yeah, that's literally a rant.
Yeah,
which was, like, that was actually kind of a cool thing to see because they did that in post-production and had extras, and, like, that was kind of neat.
Yeah.
So the other thing that the Brujah do was also called raves. So they have rants and raves.
Raven.
Yeah. So raves are a fairly recent phenomena, mostly tracing back to sometime in the mid-1980s. So this is a new... Vampire actually doing a new thing in the clan culture.
Neat.
Weird, but cool. So these are basically little clan-run parties that are hedonistic events that are just kind of hang out and live a little. So they're kind of counted as like a mini Elysium, where non-Brujah are more than welcome to join in and participate in the festivities, even though this is clearly a Brujah-run event, and these are mostly kept as places for people to meet, greet, talk, chill, whatever, without having open conflict.
Okay.
So, it's like, yeah, just come and chill, but if the vibes are off, they will beat you to death.
Gregory over there still has a cricket bat from the rant last week, so
yeah.
He didn't get to use it.
Yeah, it's weird. It's nice. Look, he loosened his tie. The cricket bat's still here.
Yeah.
Who is he? The moderator?
I can see why, even though they were always a quote-unquote Camarilla clan, why they fit in so well with the Anarchs. Like, it just makes sense for them to have been there the whole time anyway.
We will get into why that is also canonically within the lore, which is kind of fun. But yeah, it's just one of those, like, why the fuck were they in the Camarilla? That's so fucking weird. So continuing on raves a little bit. The event does not have to be EDM based, even though it's called a rave. You can do garden parties, metal shows, basically any kind of a wild party is an option. So also this is a fun lore, go nuts, whatever weird bullshit you want to write into your campaign, do it. This is a good excuse.
Would they have like an Eyes Wide Shut style thing?
They could. You could do that. I don't see why not.
I always didn't know if that was just kind of outside of Brujah taste generally.
No, it doesn't have... Like, I could see the more intellectual kind of Brujah wanting to do that because, you know, it's a way to have revelry, but it's still kind of wrapped in this artifice of like, yes, but each one of us is wearing a mask based off of a different Greek character and blah, 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 blah.
See, if I was gonna run an Eyes Wide Shut thing, my brain go-to would be like Ventru or maybe La Sombra, but I think Brujah could make sense.
It could work.
I do kind of see what you're saying though, that it would have such like a you'd think another clan would be more, even Toreador, you know what I mean?
Yeah, I keep hitting on the intellectual side for Brujah in the episodes because a lot of people just forget about that, or they kind of just eschew it because, you know, leather jackets and punching things is cool, which is fun. You're not wrong. It is fun to punch things and wear leather jackets, but like there's a whole breadth of other options you can do with the clan and still be valid.
Well, I was thinking less because those clans are more intellectual and more because I feel like those clans in my mind are a little more cork sniffers.
Yeah. It's a lot of my research, especially with the way the clan is written, Brujah that end up in high society places like potentially an Eyes Wide Shut party are not there because they care about the high society thing. It's just unfortunately high society people tend to keep knowledge locked away somewhere.
They're the ones with the old books.
Yeah, they're the ones. They're like, I don't want to be here, but this is where the books are.
They can afford the artifact.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
These people are funding my expeditions or my research. They're like, I am here not because of the richness. It's just the rich people pay for my bullshit. So I have to fucking deal with these assholes.
Right.
That
would make most sense.
Which I can really do so fucking much. They're like, I just want to do my thing, man. Like, why does it cost money? Money is bullshit.
Money is bullshit.
Yeah. But yeah, at a rave, fights are known to happen because the events get kind of rowdy, but it's more of a for fun fight as opposed to an actual heated fight. Because if the fight gets out of hand, then it's like, whoa, we're breaking it up. You broke the rule of the rave. Kind of like the shirtless fights that we've had.
Yeah, I was about to bring it back, like on New Year's, where it's like, I know you both had a couple drinks, you said some things you didn't mean, and you started throwing real punches.
Yeah.
We're not doing that tonight.
Yeah, this one from silly bros just being bros rolling around in the grass to like, oh, you guys are actually having a fight. Fuck.
I was just thinking of that, yeah.
Yeah.
I kind of miss I'm like 5 beers deep. Want to wrestle?
God, the amount of times you got 5 beers deep and you just started going to every dude
like,
friend of ours and you're just like, I want to fight, let's go. And everyone's like, what? No. And you're just like, no, it's just for fun. We're just gonna roll around.
One thing I'll say, Crystal, she was great at that.
Hell yeah.
Had drummer legs.
Yeah,
you gotta be careful with drummers, man.
They
got drummer legs.
They scrappy, but like from the waist down. I appreciate the wholesome masculinity of like, we're just gonna fight because I love you.
Because it's fun.
Because it's fun.
Wrestle.
Yeah, I'm just like, I love that shit. It's fantastic. So, embrace. The Brujah never really liked the tradition of progeny within the 6 traditions of the Camarilla, since it limited their choice of freedom. That was one that just the clan as a whole was just like, we don't like it. It's fucking stupid. So, when they were in the Camarilla, they regularly just said, fuck it, or either would embrace without permission, or would get quote-unquote permission for someone they perceived as an elder. So instead of actually getting permission from the prince, they would just go to whoever in the city in the Brujah clan they considered to be kind of in charge of them, and just was like, hey dad, is it cool?
I love the idea of somebody to be like, hey Greg, I know you're only like a month older than me, but
you're technically my elder.
Can I sire this person? Greg's like, I don't give a fuck. What are you talking about?
That's cool, because I already did it. I'm just kind of ad hoc now getting permission, just so we all don't get in trouble. Like, just not give it.
Love it.
The amount that, the Brujah and the Gangrel just did not
don't care.
give a fuck. And the rest of the clans are like, we should stop you. And I'm like, you and what army? They are your army.
Right.
Yeah, like, how are you stopping this? While the clan tends to embrace with very little structure, there seems to be kind of threads of logic on who gets embraced. That breaks down to, from what I've been able to parse together, those that are seeking some kind of kinship with this person, whether it's like shared background, shared struggles, ideals, personal tragedies, lovers, and sometimes members of their own mortal bloodline.
Oh, the two that always end up the best.
Oh yeah, the healthiest choice.
The one you should always go for.
Oh, the one you should always go for, because, you know. Yeah,
Look, Cain just fucked it up.
Yeah, just because Cain can't handle his emotions doesn't mean the rest of vampire kind can't. Our running dunk on Cain of he's like, I can't do it, none of you can, fuck you. But then those who kind of can just get punished in a way so they can never actually.
Yep.
Yeah, it's so fucking wild. Another thread of thought is somebody they see that is talented, whether this is leadership, skill, or muscle. Here's where many academics and community activists get scoped out, where they're just like, hey, they're really good at X, Y, and Z. I feel like this would be a really good asset for, like, the community.
And considering their humanistic tendencies, it's not like other clans where they, like, necessarily have to just yoink them out of whatever they're doing. If they're doing community work, I feel like it would make sense for Brujah to just keep doing community work and then be like, and now vampire community work.
Yeah, you're you're getting promoted to twice the work.
Yay!
Yay!
Forever.
Maybe you'll get lucky and get promoted to 3 times the work.
Mm-hmm. Right.
What is that, being an elder?
Yeah. Mostly it's just 3 times the stress. You do a lot less work.
It's a lot of delegating.
Yeah.
It's a lot of delegating, which they're not good at.
What, Brujah or
yeah.
elders?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
I don't know. Elders are pretty fucking good at it, it seems like.
Depends. It depends on the kind of
They're good at the act of delegating. I don't know if the delegation goes well.
That's the plot of most vampire games. Just, hi, youngin', I've delegated this to you, and then the courtier goes, fuck, and just drops the ball.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wait, you delegated what to us?
You give us what? I'm not qualified, and you're not giving me any training.
I am severely underpaid. Did I say I was paying you? Hold on, wait a second.
Wait, I'm paying you? He's on payroll.
I've never even heard of a Zamutsi before tonight.
Is that like tzatziki?
I love tzatziki!
I loved tzatziki.
Oh.
Anyways, third option that often comes up for Brujah embraces is those who are just kind of outside the box. Whether this is a counterculture icon or a Joe Nobody, this is somebody who has kind of a spark of passion within them for something.
Just a unique weirdo.
Yeah, just somebody's like, I like their spunk. I like their moxie.
Like that one guy who wears like the Riddler suit, but it's covered in dollar signs. And he just wants to help you get money from the government!
Potentially. Yeah, it's not unheard of within Clan Brujah to have people that get embraced that were just like, I was just a mailman. I was minding my own fucking business. But they might, have a lot of care about their community and be really connected with people and, like, really know the people on their route. And then the Brujah goes like,
that's cute.
That's cool. What if we take that energy and shift it towards the resistance? Yeah. So, yeah, it's not unheard of just in the clan where it's just, like, some guy. They're just like, I was a baker. I
don't really know why I'm here.
The only reason I do this, guys, because I woke up at like the crack of 3 a.m. to start making bread, and he would just show the fuck up, and now I'm this, and
I gotta be really careful when I'm baking my bread.
Yeah, it sucks. I had switched to donuts because there's less fire. Damn.
Rude.
But the last major embrace group is Embrace for Utility. This is whether there's a specific mission that the person is doing and they need specific people with a certain set of skills, or the sire is just really fucking sad and they just need to fill this like weird hole that they feel or perceive in their life, so they just kind of embrace somebody to like fill that gap.
So this is the least healthy of the choices.
Yes, it is.
That's borderline shovelhead energy.
It's borderhead. Yeah. We'll get into that later. But yeah, you're not wrong. Whoopsie poodle. Brujah are not well known for training or tending to their own childer. Therefore, many caitiff, in fact, are unclaimed Brujah. It's not unheard of just because there's like this drive or passion or something, or just a fuck up of like, fuck, I did not mean to embrace, this person that I'm like real cool friends with, but I pay it, fuck. Bye.
Bye.
Yeah, not unheard of, or it's like, well, they did the job I needed. I don't feel beholden to this person.
I just ended their life and made them live forever.
Yeah, they're doing they did the thing I needed them to do. I have this other mission over here. Deuces, not unheard of. There might be something to say about the clan's drive to collect students and teach them, particularly as the Brujah gets older. It might be kind of a recompense for like, oh fuck, I made all these people and we're in their shadow. I gotta teach somebody. I feel bad.
I gotta teach somebody.
Also, it hasn't been stated, but I'm starting to vibe that they are a younger clan, in quotes, as in there are a lot more young people than ones that actually make it to be an elder.
Yep.
So they tend to stay.
I've noticed with the canonical NPCs, there are some really fucking old Brujah, but it tends to be, there's a fuckload of really young ones, and if you make it to a certain age, you've kind of figured out a system that works for you, and you just kind of keep going until the plot fucks with you. Mm-hmm. It kind of seems to be what it is.
Okay.
But it's just getting to the threshold of, like, kind of figuring your own bullshit out enough to, like, find a system that works for you tends to be the big threshold, and a lot of Brujah don't make that.
I assume we'll talk about lip pop. I assume we'll talk about that more later on different parts of the episode, but it kind of gives me kind of like Malkavian vibes or La Sombra vibes, where like the worst part is like the beginning when you're just starting out and you don't know shit and you're kind of they're left to their own devices.
Yeah.
Whereas like, you know, the others have their own tests like and problems.
Where like they just kind of grab them and the thing with Gangrels, it's ritualized to purposely grab them and kind of yeet them into the woods, being like, well, sink or swim. Literally, like, pissed and kicking your child into the deep end of the pool. The Brujah lack the structure for that, so they just kind of, like, oopsie poodle into doing that.
Are Brujah like sea turtles?
What do you mean? What?
You know, there's one that has, like, 50 kids, and then, like, 2 of them make it to the ocean and actually survive.
Oh, kinda. Now that you've said that, holy shit.
Okay.
That's unfortunate. You're not wrong.
What a bummer.
It's a big bummer. Yeah, because it's like, well, they gotta live long enough to reproduce.
Yeah.
And then they go back. I guess the Brujah don't technically have to, like, go back to the place from whence they spawned.
Right.
But, you know, once they start spawning, they just end up making a handful of the fuckery. And then they're just like, oh, like, one of them made it. Neat.
Yeah.
That'd be a fun, smaller player game. It's just like, you're all Brujah. Y'all got picked up to do this thing. And then here you are. Mm-hmm. You're just alone in Kansas City or wherever.
Yeah, good luck.
Figure it out.
That's unfortunate. Slightly less unfortunate, but also kind of the Brujahs have some of the most diverse pool of peoples within their clan and more reflect the current state of humanity within its own time.
So kind of along with that, they're usually younger, so they're usually pulling from whatever the current is.
Yeah, and since a lot of Brujah are very connected in with their like human contacts and resources, and that tends to be the pools that they're like grabbing folks from. The clan tends to be much more of a snapshot reflection of how humanity is in the time that it currently exists in, compared to some of the other clans.
That makes sense.
Which I'm like, that's kind of interesting, kind of fun. A lot of Brujah are from immigrant and minority communities, having their most ardent fighters preserved within the ranks of the clan.
That's cool. Which
is kind of cool, but then also like, fuck. That it sucks that these particular groups have to so often be revolutionaries or fighters, and then those kinds of people tend to be who the Brujah vibe with, so therefore that's where they pull from. So it's one of those like, man, that sucks that your things for your community are so fucked that the Fight the Man clan is like, hi friends. I'm just like, oh no. Yeah. Which is a reflection of the Ventru, who tend to embrace from like higher society, kind of more power structure folks. So that clan tends to be a lot of white dudes, because that just tends to be who's in charge of things.
Yep.
So, you know, they're getting better about it though, so like, good for them.
They're kind of trying.
God, imagine younger Ventru that are just like, hey, we need to do some diversity embraces, because this is insane. I've never seen Skipper look so bad. You know, some of them are in a boardroom having that discussion.
Gross.
It's super gross. They're like, look, we gotta get some diversity embraces in here. God, that's awful.
We're not meeting our quotas.
We're not meeting... Look.
I feel like the Venture would just be like, we'll just import some rich people from other countries and turn them.
No, like quite literally.
Absolutely,
yes.
Yeah.
Quite literally. It's crazy. Anyways, I have to talk about that as the counterbalance to the Brujah, so sorry, guys. So, bloodlines and little subcultures of note. Mostly bloodlines. So, the Brujah anti-tribu. These are the most violent within the clan, which is saying something, because it's Brujah. And these make up the bulk of the frontline fighters for the Sabbat.
Not surprising.
Not surprising.
I like to think that the anti-tribu are kind of like, man, those nerds, fucking pussies. Those punks, fucking pussies.
Yeah.
I'm gonna burn this building down.
Yeah, literally the bar fight scene in Near Dark.
Yeah.
But those vampires have been given a budget.
It's interesting that, I'm sure it'll come up, Brujah seem to be the foot soldiers of everyone.
Yeah.
It's because they're so good at punching.
They're so good at punching, and they're fast.
And they like doing it.
And they like doing it, because they have a lot of powerful feelings.
Mm-hmm.
The Brujah are among the first to rebel during the first Anarchy revolts, which we'll get into in the history episode in more detail. And many of especially the Brujah anti-tribu, see themselves and openly acknowledge that they are the start of the Sabbat.
I wonder how the Lasombra feel about that.
They kind of just ignore that.
I mean, it is just a bunch of people screaming under them, so...
Yeah, so they're just it's fine. Let them be loud.
Yeah.
They can be loud and wrong.
The
That's
desk
fine.
Workers can be yelling about how this is their business if they want.
The thing is, I control their benefits package. So,
exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then the Zamitsi are over there just like, I mean, it's mine?
It's been mine.
Yeah.
I made this.
I don't know if it's true or not, but it's theirs.
It goes in the square hole. And the square hole is just a schlotzo that they've slammed together. So it's just like 4 guys bent at 90-degree angles to make a square. And he just puts it into the square.
See?
God, that was horrifying.
Imagine all the other anti-tribu are just like, I don't care, I'm just mad.
Yeah. But yeah, those Brujah have the ability to scheme, so the ones that remain prescient enough to be plotty have used massive political turmoil in recent nights to basically unseat the Lasombra and the Zamitsi from their leadership positions within the sect.
There it goes.
There it goes.
So that's kind of where the Sabbat starts to fall apart, maybe.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah, that's some interesting lore from, like, the end of, the V20 kind of previous edition rap. Was kind of like, hey, so kind of the smarty smarts of the Brujah that are in the Sabbat were just like, hey guys, what if we just take all this political unrest that's happening across the world and just push it over there? So we're kind of like laying the threads for the state of the Sabbat in V5, where it's just like, there's no internal structure.
Yeah.
Like, it's been gutted.
Yeah, I feel like that's a good point, Hunter. Good explanation, Sarah. Because, taking the 2 clans that are like, I plan and I plot and I do this, and organization, you know, the Zamitsi being, this is mine, you will do what I say. The Lasombra being like, this is mine, I'll throw you into a shadow if you don't.
Yeah.
Getting them unseated to the, I'm mad, but I'm a different mad than you clan might be a bit of an issue.
Yeah, well, it's... like, a lot of the Brujah anti-tribu get mad at the Lasombra and Zamitsi because they feel like the Lasombra and the Zamitsi kind of got lost in the sauce of the point of the Sabbat, which is like, no, we're supposed to be continuing the fight from the first Anarchy revolts, and you guys have basically just made the Camarilla again with extra steps, so go fuck yourselves.
With all their Catholic bullshit.
Well, yeah, just kind of having... It's while they're having a hierarchy based on basically might meets right, it's still you still have a hierarchy. Like, and you also suck at it because the Camarilla is still there. So, like, not only are you basically doing what Dad is doing that you bitched about, you're doing it worse.
And you're proving they're stronger than you. So their might is making right over you.
Yeah. So, like, you just overall failed. So, get into this hole that I made by punching the ground.
Actually, punching the ground. I'll say that I think the argument of the Cam being stronger than the Sabbat, as much as I don't love the Sabbat, is probably much truer in recent nights because of their disorganization. But I think that they were on pretty damn good footing.
Yeah,
for a long time. That's a different episode, probably.
Yeah, because there was like they're both invested in different forms of just social infrastructure. Yeah, and I personally really enjoy what's happened in V5 with the Sabbat and what that actually means and implications for things. But that's also another fucking episode. Keep supporting us and we'll get there. Hey! Ayo! So, next group is the Bayat Mushakis, which apparently translates in Arabic to agitator, which I fucking love. It's so good!
Everything comes back to it.
Everything comes back to just this guy being like, I don't like it. I don't like it. These Brujah basically are the descendants of the Carthaginian Brujah in North Africa. Here begin comes back again.
There we are.
These guys specifically purposely sought out revenge against the Ventru and have successfully purged the clan from northern Africa.
Oh, damn. Like, straight up purged them.
Yes. To these knights, it is rare to see a Ventru in northern Africa, even with suitable reason and escorts.
Damn.
They just like, no. Mm-mm.
You're not allowed here.
You're not allowed here. Fuck off. Get out of here, ghost. Many of these Brujah Mushakis actually did convert to Islam.
Oh.
And they seek to rebuild the legacy of Carthage, and they tend to be more scholarly these evenings, and often many of them will make havens in madrasas, which are Islamic schools. So, nerds.
Fucking nerds.
Fucking nerds. Hang out with the Banu Hakim a lot.
I'm sure.
Yeah. The amount of just vibes between the Brujah and the Banu Hakim is kind of like a weirdly wholesome kind of like bromance situation that I'm just like, I love this. But also kind of makes sense why I've gone around and being like, I actually really like the Banu Hakim. I'm like, yeah, it's because I'm a Brujah main, and I just went, homie.
Friend.
It's friend-shaped.
Yeah, if it weren't for the politics and the, like, lots of stuff in older lore that, like, led to it, I would have guessed Crimson Wedding would have been between Banu and Brujah.
Yeah, if the Brujah hadn't, like, walked the fuck out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It also makes sense why the Banu are replacing the Brujah.
Yeah, they're basically replacing them.
Absolutely.
Because it's like, yeah, it's two clans that are known to be warrior scholars that care about justice.
Mm-hmm.
So just swapping them out. It's just, it's stepbrothers.
The question is,
Yes.
The question is, this might start a fight somewhere.
Uh-oh.
Is it an upgrade?
I mean, the Toreador thing, so. It's like, they don't wear leather jackets.
They don't wear leather jackets, and they listen when you ask them to do something?
I think they make more sense within the Camarilla structure than the Brujah.
They do.
Yeah.
Because of, like, hierarchy and structure and da-da-da-da. But that is...
Oh,
vote on the Banu Hakim episode. I'll talk about it sooner. Anywho.
They also got
yes.
cop energy sometimes.
There's a lot of cop
Uh-huh.
energy. There's a lot of cop
Lots
energy.
of cop energy.
A lot of cop energy, which the Brujah generally don't have, but that's also another conversation for later. So other bloodline is the Osebo. This is named for a folkloric leopard character from West Africa. I read some of the folk stories. They're kind of cool. The most popular one I saw was Anansi tripped Osebo into a pit, and then Anazi's like, hey, Osebo, I'll help you get out of this pit. Give me your tail. And Osebo's like, yeah, bro, I'd like to get out of this pit. And then Anazi catches him and then skins him and keeps his fur.
That's not just the tail.
Yeah, no.
Gotta be careful with those tricksters.
Yeah, freaking African folktales are really cool. They seem a little batshit, but I'm like, it's a lot of layers where the whole point of the folktale is to be like, you need community to not be a dick. Which the Osebo also continue that legacy. The Osebo are most often used as muscle amongst the other Libon, which is African vampires. These vampires have trouble controlling their frenzy, along with a drive to basically succumb to their beast. So if they're left alone and they don't have community or a thing or a project to do, they will seek out more extreme behaviors and power grabs, including building cults, kidnapping, and practicing vile magics.
Just because they're like, I want it extreme.
Yeah, they're just like, I'm going to do this thing because I can. And it kind of reflected some of the really wild stories I've seen of just like various warlords in parts of Central Africa that have just like general butt naked. Like some of the story in the book that I read, I was like, oh yeah, it reminds me of this psycho guy that was just like, yeah, I do these dark magic rituals that involve cannibalism. So therefore, if I am naked, I will not be shot by bullets because I am invincible.
Oh.
And I'm like, no, you're just crazy and a dickhead.
Except that the Ventru might have fortitude.
Yeah. And while the Osebo are written to very much parallel the Brujah...
I said Ventru.
You did.
I meant Brujah.
That's okay.
Ventru.
The Brujah will kick your ass later at the next rant
I'm
for
sure
the
they
fuck
will.
up.
Yeah.
But yeah. So while the Osebo are meant to parallel the Brujah, treating them as purely a bloodline of the Brujah isn't really supported by the lore or documentation that I could find, but I just wanted to bring them up because it's like... A lot of the Libon are written in a way where it's like, initially it sounds like it's a bloodline of one of the European or Western clans, but then the more you read it, you're like...
This is just that clan with a different community.
It's like, it's its own thing and they just have parallels.
Okay.
So it's like, oh my god, it's almost like people across the planet have similar ideas or needs or archetypes within their cultures, and sometimes things just kind of repeat themselves.
Weird.
So I felt like I had to, if I don't acknowledge it, it's weird. So I've acknowledged it. And then we're going to get into everybody's favorite, the true Brujah. I need a drink. Hold on. That's not a bit. Some of this is really interesting and cool. I'm coming into this with the open acknowledgement of I have a lot of baggage of dealing with players in the past with true Brujah that are just the worst kind of but actually talk down to you because you're a femme-looking game player chud. So I'm trying to not bring that into this energy. But there's a reason this clan kind of gets a lot of reputation. And by clan, I mean bloodline.
Big old eye roll.
So, the true Brujah, similar to the Niktuku, is a bloodline that claims to be the original lineage of the clan that existed before the usurper Troil Diablerized the founder. So, though there are claims within the lore that this is a faction that actually only appeared after the fall of Carthage.
Probably.
Yeah, that's... Hi, welcome to World of Darkness. There are 6 explanations for fucking everything, and you choose your own adventure. Do your game how you want.
I'm going to stick with that one.
That's fair.
I like that because I like the fact that if it weren't for Carthage, Brujah wouldn't really be much of... Carthage wouldn't have like anything to yell about, you know?
Yeah, that's true. Well, Carthage kicks off so many things in lore in general, let alone specifically for the clan itself, and like fundamentally changes them so much that we're going to spend a lot of time talking about in the next episode. But that's in the future. So, the true Brujah are known to be rather detached, unemotional personas that prefer to run on pure reason. So think about Spock versus Kirk. That's the best way I could think to parse this quickly. So, the true Brujah highly praise thwarting the main clan, gathering knowledge, and seeking to perfect their minds.
Yeah, that definitely sounds like something that could attract some very annoying players.
Yeah, it's very, I'm better than you because I've kind of read a blurb about Socrates once. I'm a Stoic. I'm like, do you even know what the fuck that is or what that means? So, if this is your favorite thing, I'm sorry, I'm kind of dunking on it a little bit. I'm owning my open. I have a lot of baggage. And this is also a bloodline that can be very easily abused by problematic players.
They also came out in one of the most hated vampire books of all time.
So,
literally that book, I think that was that Dirty Secrets of the Black Hand that they were first mentioned in. But I know a lot of tables had a standing rule of nothing in this book is canon and we will not use it.
Yeah, I don't think that's the first one that came out. In the true Brujah are mentioned in both of the Brujah clan books. Okay. But they're kind of more of like a boogeyman, blah, 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 kind of like how the Niktuku are in the Nosferatu. The kind of different in canon lore is the Niktuku, or the Nosferatu have to kind of acknowledge the Niktuku a little bit as like a boogeyman thing because the Niktuku do directly hide in the warrens occasionally and start like picking people off and things like that. The true Brujah have a completely different strategy, so it's much easier for the clan to just be like, that's made up, whatever. So, do with this what you want. This could just be all conjecture and rumor in your game, or it could be real. This really just more depends on the vibe of your table.
This next part you probably shouldn't put in your game, though.
This is I'm going to recommend as a NPC-only thing currently. I'm going to recommend that, because unless you have players that you trust and understand to not be fuck nuggets, this is a lot of power to give. True Brujah are mostly known for their discipline known as temporis. This is a discipline that allows for the manipulation of time at the cost of the physical body of the wielder, which drives me insane that people that I have interacted with that use temporis forget that second half, where it takes so much strain to warp time that it fucks with your body, and you can just technically accidentally just delete yourself physically from the force that you are having to wield because you're fucking with time.
I think it sounds a lot like Paradox with mages.
Yeah, that's
like,
kind of...
If you don't actually push the consequence of using this power, then it's just, well, you're a god. Good job.
Yeah, I have played in games where people were allowed to have temporis, and instead of using it in fun kind of like Flash-esque, freezing people, or like for short stints, or moving really quickly, or like going back and kind of rewinding to watch things. There's lots of cool things you can do in a story with time manipulation that isn't dickhead and ruining the fun for everybody else. But when you're a fucking Time Lord, some people can't handle the weight of responsibility of that power, and they just are fucking assholes, and they're just like, oh, I can just get away with doing whatever I want because I can just manipulate time, so therefore you never experienced the shitty thing I did, so therefore I can be a dickhead and face no consequences. And I'm just like, yeah, but your soul remembers. You're taking humanity problems for that. So like, yeah, the players don't remember the terrible shitty thing you did, but you know, and you should feel bad about it. And the fact that you don't as a player, let alone as a character, is a problem.
I'm trying to remember. What is that superhero role-playing game? I believe Green Ronin put it out.
It's not Mutants and Masterminds, is it?
I think it is, yeah.
Okay.
I think Mutants and Masterminds, they had to put all their time superpowers and time machine bullshit in a separate book. And it's got a big warning that's like, do not use this book unless you are ready for the consequences of it. Putting time travel in any game system is a bad idea if the players get to flip the switch whenever they want.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If you have like a time machine where it's like, all right, you can go back 20 years. How do we get back? What do you mean? That could work.
Yeah, the machine only goes backwards. Yeah, so it's one of those, it depends on the vibes of your table. I'm certain there's plenty of people that have had great chronicles with True Brujah players, and everything went great and everything was fine. I'm sure that's happened. I've seen this go abhorrently sideways.
I have third-party experienced more bad True Brujah players than I have more True bad players than I have bad Malkavians.
Yeah.
Because a bad Malkavian is often like a little disrespectful or rude. A bad True Brujah will literally ruin a chronicle.
Yeah. But in lore, it is debated whether celerity came from Temporis or vice versa, and when the history of the discipline actually appears, which that was a fascinating, like, delve into the rabbit hole of bullshit.
Yeah, that's cool.
But the best way that I was able to break this down is either Troil created celerity as a way to keep up with their blood siblings, because all the other quote-unquote real Brujah had Temporis and could, like, fuck with time and do all this. Troil didn't have that ability, so they basically crafted celerity to be able to, like, celerity is essentially a discipline of you're fucking with time because you're speeding up. And I was like, yeah, I understand with, like, time space that's technically true, but like, no.
Right.
And then there's also True Brujah are believed to have created the discipline after the fall of Carthage with the aid of Banu Hakim sorcerers.
You think they were trying to, like, create the discipline so that they could go back and save Carthage?
Potentially. Or they're just like, hey, we have celerity, which means we go fast, which means we are technically fucking with time, so how much, like, further can we push this? And they kind of oopsed into being like, oh shit, I'm a Time Lord now. Fuck.
I truly, like, I think they did it on purpose to try and save Carthage. Mostly because that's all they ever care about.
Yeah. And then there's also the theory that Troil the Elder, Ellis, whatever you want to call the Brujah, either progenitor or great-grandpa or whatever, however you want to process this lore, we'll get into that next episode, had created Temporis as their own special discipline, so therefore only those directly descended from that character would have it, so therefore, like, the true Brujah would, but the Troil doesn't, even though they're a childer of them. And they Diablo. Yeah, it's some of the reasons that the true Brujah have given for, like, why they have Temporis and the rest of the clan doesn't is, like, fucking wild.
Sounds like some bullshit.
Yeah, but also it's like, in the Book of Nod, it specifically says that celerity was created by Cain, but also the Book of Nod might just be giant pile of ancient propaganda that make Cain look cool and to justify the Camarilla, so who the fuck knows?
Right.
Hi, welcome to lore, and then it's made up and the points don't matter.
I do like the implication that celerity isn't just I move that much faster. It's everything slows down around me enough that I appear to be that quick.
Mm-hmm.
That's how the, what's his name in Winter's Teeth talks about it, too.
Yeah.
There's, like, a whole panel that he's talking about using celerity, and he's like, time slows down around me, where I can see reflections in broken glass and things like this.
Yeah, it's like, you are moving so fast, and your perception is moving also that quickly, so for you it looks like time is slowing down, which is kind of how relativity, I guess, would work with that, but, you know, that's getting into, like, sci-fi level bullshit that I have not had enough caffeine for right now, so...
Explore that at your table.
Yeah, explore that. If you want to put science fiction into your Vampire the Masquerade game, go for it. I'm super here for it.
Mm-hmm.
It's a good time. Continuing on with the True Brujah, there is lore evidence to suggest that the Trujah are in fact just a bloodline of the Brujah, descended from Troil, and they had managed to teach themselves their grandsire's ability of Temporis. So, like, the third gen guy had temporis, had figured that out, did not teach a tutorial, and then these guys like circumvented them and was just like, I figured it out. I backdoored my way in.
It's in my blood.
I got it now. So yeah, there's a lot of options. There's a lot of lore. A lot of it contradicts itself. Good luck. Thing that does not get contradicted really is many of this bloodline have helped form the Talme Ra, which is its own pile.
Lore can
oh god,
just lore.
Yeah,
not agreeing with lore.
Yeah.
Coming from a book everyone hated.
Yeah, so the Talme Ra, or the quote-unquote True Black Hand, is a sect within a sect within a sect that is basically trying to pull the strings to be spared the fate of Gehenna by destroying other vampires, along with fighting demons sometimes.
Sure, that makes sense.
Yeah, it's very like, what? It can be really, really cool, but it gets so lost in the fucking weeds, and it's just kind of a headache to explain nicely, because there's not like a good clear... It has a lot of like the Smoking Man energy for X-Files, where you're just like, what's happening? And it's like,
It's one of the things you only pull out at a table where everyone's already been playing for 10 years, so they know like you've gone through so much of the base lore that you know everyone's.
Caught
like
up.
You can start adding like extra steps to be interesting. Like I wouldn't throw it at a new player.
Yeah, no, if you have people that have like a little bit of experience and you just want to have the Talme Ra in the background as like a vague boogeyman that is mentioned, that's fine. Sometimes, depending on your player experience level, you can actually interact with it if you want, but you do not need this at your table if you don't need it. But the true Brujah, quote-unquote, logically concluded that they could survive Gehenna by sacrificing the rest of vampire kind to save themselves. Apparently, that's in lore canonically, because the true Brujah run on pure logic and reason, because they are not emotional.
Sure.
Because, yes, being logical means inherently ignoring your emotions. That is totally sane and makes sense and is actually a logical thing to do. Mm-hmm. We're gonna move past that.
Didn't like Spock even try to like feel more emotion throughout Star Trek?
Spock's half human. Like his whole shtick.
I mean, like the Vulcan thing.
Yeah,
like, Vulcans in general, like.
Yeah, well, it's because he had dad issues. Because his dad was full Vulcan and was trying to make him go through the thing, but he couldn't hold up the standards of Vulcan society because he was a human and had emotions. And then Spock's like, you know what? You can have logic and emotions at the same time, and that's totally fine. That's how you be a well-rounded person and like live a full life. Wow.
So if you want to bring sci-fi into your vampire games.
Yeah. I don't like stoicism. That's what's coming out. Sarah fucking does not like stoicism. Because it's inherently illogical and fucking just batshit. Anywho. It is rumored that the true Brujah these nights are either remaining hidden within the Shadowlands, pulling what strings they can with the Sabbat, or they're working with the Ministry.
Sure. What?
Sure.
I would like to also point out, if you're not a fan of this group, like Umium, they have pretty much semi-canonically been fully killed off at least twice.
Yeah.
People have tried to write them out of the universe. Because the Talme Ra, not the true Brujah completely, but the Talme Ra have at least twice been fully pushed out of the system, being like, oh, they're all gone. And the few that are gone were like, oh, we fucked up.
Yeah.
But we can talk about that in our Week of Nightmares episode.
Yeah! There's also the last fun note, which is there's notes within Brujah lore that all of this bullshit about the true Brujah is actually Ventrue propaganda to instigate infighting within the clan, and it's all bullshit. Which is so funny.
I like that. That's funny.
It's so funny. Where it's like, the true Brujah, Temporis, not actually a thing. The closest Temporis is somebody got to like Celerity 7 and just go fast as fuck.
even going so far as to say, oh yeah, the Talmud Ra, that was just like propaganda to make the Sabbat not trust themselves.
Yeah. You mean the clan that is tied in with power structures of capitalism and white supremacy would use tactics known to cause infighting within groups, like that is similar to like COINTELPRO.
Nah,
they wouldn't be doing that. Not at all. Nope. It's funny like that. So now we're at the fun part. Disciplines. The Brujah gets Celerity because they go fast as fuck, boy.
Pew, pew, pew.
They get Potence. They can punch.
Whack, whack, whack.
And then Presence because you can stir up a crowd. And
that's specifically what they were, the one they were not supposed to use at a rant, I'm guessing.
Yeah, because it's like you're supposed to be. Oh, they're also using Potence to like punch people too good. It's like kind of cheating. It's like, man, don't do that.
We know we can all punch real hard.
it's just kind of like a, hey man, if your idea sucks, like just accept your idea sucks. Or like hear another guy out, you know. You don't have to be an asshole about it. So yeah, there's like some cool amalgam stuff that's kind of flavored specifically for Brujah and Presence, where it's just like you can literally share the power and energy of like your rage and frenzy with crowds and shit, and that's like really fucking cool.
Mm-hmm.
So hell yeah. Clan Banes. We got 2 because we got the new book, so there's 2.
Nice.
So we have Temper. Who wants to read that one?
The blood of the Brujah simmers with barely contained rage, exploding at the slightest provocation. Subtract dice equal to the bane severity of the Brujah from any roll to resist fury frenzy. This cannot take the pool below 1 die.
Shit.
Yeah,
That's pretty brutal.
Yeah, it's pretty Brujah.
Oh.
I was not proud of that joke. That was very bad.
Yeah,
that
was very boo-ha.
It was very boo-ha. Boo-worms. Anyways, do you want to read Violence?
Yeah, that's the alt bane, right?
Yes.
Yeah, so this is their alt bane from the player's guide, right? Mm-hmm. Alright, so this is Violence. Unliving vectors of revolt. The Brujah cannot help but change things, often violently and not always for the better. While all vampires harbor a capacity for destruction, a hungry Brujah always does some kind of damage. On a messy crit result on any skill test, the Brujah causes damage, physical or mental depending on the situation, to the subject of their interaction equal to their bane severity, in addition to any other result of the hunger die. The damage is aggravated unless the player spends a point of willpower, making the damage superficial instead.
God damn.
So, even if they're trying to hurt something, if they get a messy crit, they do more damage.
They super hurt the thing. They're like, all right, I'm just trying to rough this guy up a little bit. It's like,
why did you rip his throat out?
You broke his spine.
They're basically werewolves. We haven't done our W5 episode yet, but that basically just makes them like werewolves.
They're just mini werewolves. Kinda, yeah. Like, that one is very, like, holy fuck. Could you imagine? I love, my favorite note is the physical or mental. So could you imagine just being like, hey, I'm just gonna intimidate this guy, but you do too good. And then this guy's just, like, emotionally and mentally scarred.
He's just in the corner pissing himself.
Pissing and shitting. Yeah. And I'm just like, oh my god. That's such a good alt to this. I love it. And then there's a clan compulsion of rebellion.
Your turn.
It is my turn. The vampire takes a stand against whatever or whomever they see as the status quo in the situation, whether it's their leader, a viewpoint expressed by a potential vessel, or just the task that we're supposed to do in the moment.
Oh my god.
Until they've gone against their orders or expectations, perceived or real, the vampire receives 2 dice penalty to all rolls. This compulsion ends once they've managed to either make someone change their mind, by force if necessary, or have done the opposite of what's expected of them.
That sucks so much.
Petty.
It does. I've played this and it's a fucking nightmare.
Keep this safe. Fuck this.
Yeah, just keep this safe. And you're like, compulsion, you're just like, I'm trying. Why? Why am I doing this shit? Why aren't you protecting your own stuff, man? Fuck you.
Puts it on the ground. Carefully. Doesn't just throw it. Puts it on the ground. Walks out.
Yeah. Just because everyone expects me to break it. So therefore, if I just put it down gently and then walk out calmly and like lock the door as I leave.
Right. Perfect.
I leave. Wait like 10 minutes ago. I should go back. I feel bad.
Yeah. God damn it.
Damn it.
He trusted me with the thing. All right.
All right, fine. As lucky as I like them. And then we have the coterie merit, which, remember, is a thing that you can take as a player that helps out the other players in your troop.
Yay.
So who wants to read this one?
Sometimes, the best way out of a bad situation is to try again, harder. While a frenzy-prone coterie mate impresses upon you the error of your ways, once per session, the Brujah inspires a flagging coterie mate who may then re-roll all regular dice on a failed physical skill test.
This is called Boot and Rally. It is worth 1 dot.
Nice.
Of background dots. It's only like 3 XP. So it's a very cheap, once per session. If somebody's trying to do a thing and they suck at it, you can go, come on, bro, get your shit together. Come on, let's go.
You know,
we got this. Woo!
I read that out loud, and now the comedy of the sentence is actually making it funnier to me.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes it's to try again harder. While a frenzy-prone coterie mate tells you the error of your way. It's like, you fucked up, man. You should probably do better. You can do it. I believe in you.
Yeah, just come on, man. We got to do this. Don't be a bitch.
Meanwhile, they're like, if I don't get this right, he might punch me in the head.
I was kind of hoping for the other, like, oh, he actually believes in me.
No, frenzy prone.
Frenzy prone. Yeah, that's also fair. Just being like, if I don't do this right, I'm gonna get punched so hard, so hard. At least it's not the moderator.
I like that this is just an NPC. That's his name.
This might have to be an NPC, right? Just the moderator.
I like the moderator. It's got to be someone's NPC for the episode.
Everyone just calls it Mod.
Oh yeah, you're not talking to Mod. And everyone's thinking, oh, it's gonna be like a Harold and Maude, where it's like just some lady who was embraced from like the 40s with a weird old lady name, and it's like, no, it's a guy who's just jacked as shit, but he wears nerd shit, like full dark academia with like the layers and like the fucking coat with the pulled up hood or like collar and shit, and glasses like horn rimmed
with a cricket bat. Just carries it everywhere for some reason.
I'm so excited for the illustrations of the mod. I love this. So, that is Vibes. Social embrace everything about the clan. Woo! That we are covering in this first part. So
we did it.
How we feeling, fellas?
I mean, I've always liked this clan. They've never been one of my favorites, but I've always thought they were kind of cool to have around. I am excited to get more into the history, because they definitely are kind of like a backbone of all vampire history, it seems like.
They're just kind of around for everything, yeah.
Like because there's 2 billion of them.
They don't make it long, but there's a lot of them.
Right.
Sea turtles.
Yep.
Like, they strangely started the Sabbat. They're the backbone of the Anarchs, but they've also been a Camarilla clan. Like, they're just there. Whatever you're doing, they're there, and they're a big part of it.
And they got feelings about it.
That goes along with them being individuals, though. That's why they're not all Anarchs. But it is funny how important they are to literally everything.
And they have no organization.
Which is why they use others' organization.
Yeah, just show up like, so what do we... They just show up with a bag of chips. They can't eat them. They just have them.
I brought party favors for this rant. This is Elysium, sir. So like a fancy rant?
Yeah. There's this baby Brujah that when they were part of the Camarilla didn't fully understand what Elysium is. They just called Elysium's fancy rants. Like, no, you can't punch people at the fancy rant. Just has the leather jacket, just also added a tie over the shirt.
They zipped up the jacket and put it in the collar of the jacket.
Ah, there you go.
Maybe they put on their rockabilly clothes.
There you go. Slick back their hair.
Maybe. Yeah. I'm sorry if everybody could tell. I'm really into Brujah. This is kind of like my main clan most of the time. You can't imagine why this would be the main clan I play.
No.
Can't imagine it. Don't know why. We're gonna ignore the time I was part of an ACLU court case against our local police department. Anyways, yeah, hopefully people enjoyed this and y'all are strapped in for the history episode, because I put way too much work into that.
It's gonna be the big one.
I'm gonna go put more mezcal in this Figo can.
Hell yeah! So thanks to Paralyze for the music.
That's
the one.
Go check them out on the Bandcamp, because they do more payouts on the Bandcamp for the artists.
I think they are off other streaming sites. They might be on YouTube, but Bandcamp. Go to Bandcamp.
Bandcamp for sure.
They have physical cassettes still, I think. I know I got one.
I'm going to see... I know I had them on Spotify. I don't know if they still are there.
I know people in the server were complaining that they took their music off Spotify, but...
Oh, okay. Yeah, they did. Shit.
But... if you'd like to get a hold of us, we have an Instagram at Blank Bodies Pod. We're over at TikTok at Blank Bodies Podcast, and I'm trying to get on the Blue Sky more often at Blank Bodies. So we have a Tumblr. We have a Twitter. I've kind of stopped using it. Twitter kind of sucks, and I'd like to get off my phone, but
it sucked. It's just going more. It's Twitter is becoming just the Nazi-filled 4chan more actively, and it's kind of useless for our desires.
It's because it's clear that everyone wants to get off the platform, and even like the people funding it are getting off the platform. Mm-hmm. And I don't know. I'm not here to have this discussion right now, but we probably won't be on there much longer. We have an account, but I haven't posted.
Yeah.
And
we are phasing that out at speed of plot right now.
Yeah. Right now I might just like delete it off my phone and leave the account sitting there with a link to our other stuff, but
valid.
Because right now, you go to blankbodies.com. They'll take you to our link tree, where you can get to every other social media site. But the big one is our Discord. You can join our Discord for free. There are tons of people. There's a mage game going now. There's some werewolves games.
Wait, when the fuck did we get a mage game?
I think they just did Session 0. I don't know if they've actually played yet.
I missed that. Damn.
But I know people are getting mage going, so that's cool. There's Deadlands. People have talked about running all kinds of stuff. People throwing out character ideas, talking about goofum memes, all kinds of stuff. It's a fun time. And if you want to support us more, we have a Patreon. Some of the bonuses there, you can get special Discord titles, make your name in the Discord look a cool color. You also get access to our patron exclusive episodes. I'm working on the one for December right now, and it's about the history of vampires needing to be invited into a place. So if you want to hear where that folkloric bane came from, that's what I'm working on for the patrons right now. Yes. We also have polls to vote on what we cover on the show. The next big one's going to be opening up the doors for the next clans.
So some of your weird boys, the weird ones, are getting in now. The fuck was that noise?
The weird boys.
The weird boys, yeah.
The weird boys coming in.
Yeah. We also got show notes and resources and stuff for patrons. I'm trying to work on getting a next pile of scripts and resources for a Crimbo drop.
Yeah, we got the Crimbo drop coming.
Crimbo drop. Mary Chrysler.
Yeah, there's character sketch tiers. There's blood.
Let me draw your characters.
Yeah, and if you want to be on the show, I do a little interview series. Hit us up at blankbodies@gmail.com.
Hell yeah.
Also,
yes.
Just as per tradition, I'm going to put it out there. If you're a fucking vampire, hit us up.
Hell yeah.
I'd like to ask you a few questions. That's it.
Cool.
Anyway, goodbye.
Crimbo, goodbye.
Bye. Mwah.